Residential real estate sales is without a doubt one of the last opportunities that I know of any career where you can get paid on result, not just paid by the hour on your time. And with that result, it's incredible about the amount of income that you can produce to be a real estate agent. And we used to say that there's no ceiling on how much that you can earn, but until recently, there was also no floor on how much you could earn as well. Our job, without a doubt, as markets start to change, is that people start to become jumpy. They're looking for great sales leadership. They're looking for people that know how to sail through a very choppy set of conditions. This is such an important part of what we do because we're moving away from just thinking about recruitment to really thinking about the retention of our existing people. What are we doing to make sure that they can be as financially successful as they were last year? Naturally, most people had a built-in pay increase as property prices increase by 10, 15 or 20% in your particular area. But now all of a sudden, as property prices start to decline by 5, 10 or 15%, does that mean that they've also got a built-in pay decrease? Now that means that you've got to change a few things. Can they increase their average sale price? Can they improve the volume of transactions that they do? Are they in a position that ultimately they can go to increase fee? And whilst there's a huge number, a tidal wave of people that came to join the residential real estate sector, there's a large number of people that will be taken by the tides and drawn into other industries because they believe that ultimately they find it a much easier place to be than some of the hard conversations that we've got to have in residential real estate. Our skill as great leaders is to build confidence with our people. Our skill is to show them exactly what to do in these declining markets and to be in a position that we give them a playbook on all of the basics. Things like stay listing, follow the rules about what we do to get a property sold, making sure that we're listing more properties than we actually intend to sell. And in addition to that, making sure that we really focus on the motivation of the buyer, the motivation of the seller, and finally the motivation of our agents. What we've got to do is celebrate every victory, every listing, every sale, a great offer that's been made, making sure that some of those offers, particularly for our more junior or establishing agents, are ultimately taken through a senior agent or for you as a sales leader to really assist them to make sure that when they present it forward to the seller, they can ultimately negotiate that transaction and really bring it together. This is a brand new set of conditions. Last year, everyone was worried about the thousands of buyers that they got to meet and how they deal with that huge amount of demand. This year, we're in that conversation of what do we do to actually get a buyer back to a property. Basic rules like take a tape measure to every open for inspection, to every buyer appointment, to ultimately drive that fear, to drive that level of competition, changes the way that people think, feel, and act. Your skill is to make sure that you're in the game of retention, to retain the top tier talent that you've already got inside of your firm, and to make sure that you're building great relationships with them so they can see a bigger and better future. Shortly, we'll be turning our attention to listing all of our stock for 2023. As soon as Melbourne Cup happens in that first week of November, we know that ultimately we start thinking about listing for next year. It's a great time to go to review all of the current stock and to make sure that we've got them into campaigns to get them sold before we get to Christmas Day. It's all about confidence. That's what you're in the game of. That's what you're in the game of building. And most importantly, that's what you're in the game of giving to others so that ultimately they can see a bigger and better future inside of your estate agency practice.